ladies. So I don't know if everybody can hear me because I don't know if my Bluetooth is on in the truck or if, my face is so shiny and sweaty. I had a long day at work. Doing a lot of veterans appeals cases now. Being a paralegal is a lot because we do the work that the lawyers don't want to do. So to answer your question, Renee, is it Renee or Renee? Because I know, my name gets pronounced wrong too. But to answer your question, there is a kind of a gray area. So in your situation, or the question that you asked, if the parent has custody of the child and the child lived in that particular home and they say attended school or whatever and use that particular home address, then you are the one that is legally able to file them. Now, there are cases where you have shared custody. That's where it kind of gets tricky. So it is a statute in the tax filing statute that if you have shared custody and you have the child 50% of the time and take care of them 50% of the time, and you can prove that that's the case, then you are legally able to claim that child for 50% of the time. If the child switches addresses and say that you don't go to court legally to get switch custody of that child, but that child has lived with you for 6 months out of the year, which is 50% of the time, then you then will have to provide documentation showing, yes, this child lived at this address, and yes, the child lives at this address. I do not have legal custody, because a lot of times, which is what I'm dealing with a client right now, going back and forth in front of the board, having to get documentation for her baby's father because she told him that he could file the child. She did not give it to him in writing, which, I always tell people, anytime you do anything, write it down. Give it to somebody in writing, especially when it's dealing with any type of government or any issue. I don't care if it's your mama or somebody, whoever it is, if you always cover yourself. So what's going on now, she reneged and she got mad at him. So now she's saying, no, I did not give him authorization, but the child did live with him for 6 months out of the year. Now, he claimed the child for the whole 12 months, so he can't do that, but he can legally claim the child for the 6 months out of the year. So now what he's having to do is he has to get documents from the school saying, yes, this is the address that we had on file. This is when it started. That's why I always tell my clients, and, even if it's my legal clients that, I see every day, documentation is important. I know a lot of us kind of wean it to the wayside, especially like when we're filling out our kids' school forms and we move and we may forget to change the address or the phone number or something like that. But it's really, really important that you stay on top of those things, because certain things in life, unexpected things, you just never know why something may come up and you may need that. You may not think that you need it right now, but the smallest little thing you will need. Right, you're right, Renee. So right now, that's what, we are working on doing. And he actually has the documentation. So I actually have went ahead and submitted that on his behalf. So they will take back the 6 months from him. They're still not going to give it to her because she didn't even file for it, because now she has to file a paper amended return. So they're questioning, well, if that's the case, if you didn't give him authorization, then why didn't you file her for the whole year? You didn't put her on your return at all. So that's why I said it's a lot of gray area when it comes to that type of stuff. But yes, in general terms, if you have custody of a child and the child has lived with you for 12 months out of the year, then yes, you are the one that's legally able to file. If you are giving authorization to someone else to file your child, which I'm going to tell you is not legal. So the people that say, oh, well, I'm letting my mama file my child or my sister or all that is illegal. And if they find out, both people, you and the person that filed them on their tax return, can face jail time because it is considered tax fraud. What about cases where the custodial let other people claim? Oh, yeah, I think I just said that. How do they tell, Keisha? How do they tell that the other person? I mean, you never know. Like in this case, she just got mad at him. You could have slipped up and told someone else and they might get mad at you and report you. There is a IRS fraud tax line. You want to snitch? Oh, okay. So there's an IRS tax fraud line number. I don't know it off the top of my head because I have to remember so many of them. But you can call in, report, and actually I think now you can do it online. Just go on the IRS website. The irs.gov website, and type in tax fraud hotline, and you report them, and you can report them anonymously, and you don't have to give your name or whatever unless you want to. But they're going to ask you, for all information that you may know on that person. How do you know that they are not that legal guardian of that child? Let me see. I'm trying to look at your comment here. See more. Why is it not opening? Right. Well, how about mom had legal rights, but the state comes in and takes the child. Now has the dad. I don't know why I can't see your whole comment. Oh, I'm pressing see more and it's not working. Come on, iPhone. Kanisha, can you break up that last part? So the last thing that I can see now, dad has the, Keisha, what all do you need besides the social security number? To report them, Kanisha, Keisha, is that what you're asking? To report someone? Just the name and the social, that's it. They may ask you, like I said, how do you know, or who is the person that, is filing the child? What is their relation? How long have they been doing it? Because if they've been doing it, for an elongated period of time, then they can really, really get in trouble. And I mean jail time trouble and a fine. Because what the IRS does, and any time that you do anything with the government with money, anytime it's IRS related, it's automatically federal. It's automatically federal prison, and you are most likely gonna go. So you're gonna they're gonna charge you for investigating you. So from the time that there is a report, they start investigating you. So they're gonna charge you for costing the government money to investigate you. I know it's crazy, but that's what they do. So basically, non-custodial can start an investigation to have them look into the child being claimed by anyone. Yes, you don't even have to be the non-custodial parent. If I knew that my sister was allowing people to file my niece, and I know that that's not their kid or whatever the case, then if I wanted to, I could call. You could call. You may not even know her. You could just have overheard, her talking. And a lot of times you don't even need the social, because they can search by your name too. It's the federal government. They can find out. Now dad has the child, but really don't have papers saying he's supposed to have her. But court signed. I don't know why I cannot see the rest of your comment. But court signed. Now dad has a child, but really don't have papers saying he's supposed to have her, but court signed. Okay, so in that case, let me, Kanisha, let me see if I get this right and you can tell me. So you're saying that the child was removed from the custody of one parent, the mother, I assume, and by child protective services or something, and then placed in the dad's care. That is legally, because it was done by a government agency, he legally can file her. But it does matter if the court signed off on it, but somebody had to sign off on it for them to remove that child from the custody of that one parent. So that's where it kind of starts to get tricky. So you have to, at that point, look and see, okay, well, how long has the child been in the dad's custody? Because regardless of why they were removed or how they got into the dad's custody or whatever the case, the point is that child lived in that house and that parent took care of that child solely. So if they started to open up a can of worms about, okay, well, you take care of the child financially, blah, 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 then people would start being able to file child support, and they cannot. Filing child support, meaning the person that pays the child support will start being able to file that on their taxes, and that's just opening a whole nother can of worms that the government is not going to do. So Kanisha, yes, if he has had the child or children over a year, even though that there is no court order, there was some type of order, whether it be from the magistrate or whatever. When CPS removes a child from a home, there has to have been some type of order signed either by a judge or a magistrate granting CPS to remove the child or children from the home. So yes, if he legally has the children, and that is still legally binding, even though you haven't went in front of a judge for a quote unquote custody hearing, then yes, he can file the children or child. But Keisha, you said, so I put all names that may be included. Yes, Keisha, everybody that you feel like that has, the more information that you give them, the quicker they will find out and get the stuff taken care of and prosecute whoever it is. If it is you, so say this parent filed this kid for however long, they've been getting money and you have not, right? So what will happen, they will make you amend your return, and then you will get all of that back pay money back. IRS will just go ahead and give it to you. They will worry about collecting it from that person that got it later on. So, is there any other questions before I log off here? What in the world, people tripping? And if you guys have any other questions, you can inbox me or, post a question on here. If I see it and I can answer it, then I will. Most of the time, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, so I've seen like kind of a lot of cases, things that you wouldn't, think. Oh my gosh, people do some crazy things. Okay, mom wasn't working and had other people claiming the child. Well, yep, you can definitely get her for tax fraud, because if that person, whoever it is that was claiming that child, have no proof that that child was living in their home, then yes, they will both get in trouble. But of course, I'm pretty sure, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen, because like I said, I've seen it before. What's going to happen is that person that claimed the child is going to be the first person to get in trouble. What's going to happen, they're going to say, well, the parent gave me authorization. They're going to go to the parent and say, okay, well, you know this is illegal. You can't give somebody authorization to have your child, file your child, unless they live with them and have taken care of them. So then, of course, that mother is going to say, well, I didn't give nobody authorization, because they're going to tell her, you can go to jail. And so it's going to start going back and forth between those two people, because one person is not going to take the fall. The mom's not going to take the fall for the other person. And I'm pretty sure if she did that, the person gave her some money. So then it becomes a whole different issue. So now, not only did you defraud the government, because in more than one way, because you were not working, so you couldn't file your taxes because you weren't working. Then you had somebody else file their taxes and file your child and give you money. So now it becomes a whole separate issue outside of the scope of IRS fraud. Now you're just committing, different types of fraud. And they could definitely classify it as something different. I'm going to tell you right now, I have seen IRS lock people up off of charges they made up just to go with that person's situation of what they did. You just want to know for all the children, because mom goes ham every time we bring up tax. Keisha, if it's your husband's children, he actually does have the right to contact IRS to find out who has been filing his kids. If it's your husband's children or whoever it is, if it's their legal child, they're on the birth certificate, they have the right to call IRS and find out who has been filing their children. Is there any other questions I can answer for you guys? I'm sorry for my shiny face, but it was a long day, like I said. Sister, you are the best. No problem, anytime. If you have any more questions, then just inbox me and ask me, and I will get the answer. If I don't know the answer personally, if it's not something that I've dealt with, which I very much doubt, I will definitely reach out to some of my colleagues and get the answer. Yeah, just remember, guys, everybody is so scared of the IRS. Don't be. With anything, you have rights. And when you know your rights and you're more informed, then it's nothing for you to be afraid of. Nobody can, it's kind of like right now with the police situations with everybody and, police pulling them over and all. I mean, you have to inform yourself. And unfortunately, it seems like it's most of the time people with color don't want to share information with other people of color. I see this at work all the time, every single day. Whatever kind of case I'm working on or whatever, if I find out something that I know is some information that somebody needs to know or it will benefit them in some way, then I go ahead and give it to them. A lot of the stuff that I, tell people, the advice, people charge for it. And people always say, well, you should charge. No, I'm not doing that.